start a little interior disassembly. It's amazing to me that this still has these little dangly cup holder gyro things. It's crazy, this 80s, 90s technology. But here we go. Get the center console taken apart. Unscrew the lock here. And I'll get the rest of this gray cover here out around the shifter. Hardest part of this whole disassembly here is getting this little light bulb switch out of here. I don't want to break the connector. I think maybe a couple too many coffees have been spilled inside of here, and it does not want to come out. So let's see. What is the trick to getting these out? Man, it's moving, but I do not want to break it. I want to keep this interior all intact. I don't want to really change anything in here. I wish I could get this out without breaking it. I can feel the connector moving, but this will not come out. An awful lot of work to save a light bulb. And honestly, I know I just got done saying that I was going to try to keep everything original in here, but I do have a USB port amp gauge thing to go in place of the cigarette lighter. Oh, look at that. Squeeze these two little clips right here, and it comes out of the cigarette lighter. See them two prongs right there? Well, I should have did that to begin with. Alright, so that's out of the way. Let me clean up the inside of this. This is definitely nasty in here. Alright, now that's all cleaned up. I'm going to stop right there on the shifter assembly, because if I have to move this out, I need to be able to put it in gear. So we're going to leave that in. I'm going to jump down. We're going to do the pedal assembly, because I'll be able to still use the brake in order to move this out of here, and the clutch will be just hanging down in there. And then we'll remove the shifter assembly at that time. I have found oil change receipts, a pop can, a couple of grocery store receipts, all from 2004. In my previous video, I said that this car hasn't ran in at least 3 years. I'm beginning to think 2004 was the last time this thing was drove or ran or anything like that. This is 2022. Is that 18 years? It's amazing. Threw in that starter, fuel pump, fired up. Even has the original spark plug wires that are dated from Ford, saying 1989 on all of them. This car has just sat. And I think that's what's preserved it, because it has very minimal rust. Very minimal. It's going to be a fun car with a 5-speed. Alright, I was hoping to make a good video of this, but this is going to be pretty difficult being down here. Alright, what are we looking at here? Here, right here, and right here are the 2 bolts that hold the steering column up. Those also go into the pedal assembly. And see, this is the pedal assembly and that stiffener bracket. I heard that's a real pain in the butt to get loose. So we're gonna have to first remove this one and this one, get this out of the way. And then all the way in the back. Right there. Another one on that side. One more up top there. I don't know if it'll get you in there. It's right up there behind that bracket. You can see it. I'm gonna have to get them 4 removed. These 2 here for the steering column. And then the pedal assembly will come out. That should be fairly simple. The only one that I'm worried about is this stiffener bracket here, which we might just cut that off and leave the other 2. Maybe we can actually use it with the new pedal assembly. We'll have to take a look. I'll just leave it dangle and we'll get the brake pedal out. Right here. So it holds the brake pedal on. See this little clip. Oh, all right. Straight side goes in the pedal. Just took a screwdriver, fit it in this hole, and it pulled right out. Now I'll disconnect the electrical for the brake lights. Very carefully pry that little connector up, pull it off, and next thing will be this other sensor right here. So we'll get this removed and bring you back to get the bolts off. All right, here we go. We're gonna start with a 14mm swivel socket and a 6-inch extension to get to these steering column bolts and the ones that hold it to the firewall. That's the 4 bolts that hold the steering column in. Now I'm going to remove these 2 screws right here. They hold this vanity panel in underneath the steering column. That should allow the steering column to drop down a little bit lower to clear those studs. Well, with that done, that allows the steering column to drop way down. Gives you plenty of access room. Now I'm going to remove the 4 bolts that hold it to the firewall that I showed at the start of this video. 14mm. Alright, I got those 4 out on the firewall, and here is 2 that I missed. You see that one there? It goes straight up towards the roof of the car. It's 11mm, and that one, I don't know if I can show you, right back right there is a 10mm that also goes straight up. towards the roof of the car. And that should be it for the pedal assembly. And I'll see if I can't fish it out without removing that stiffener bracket. Okay, so you can see right here this stiffener bracket. Focus, right there. So in order to get that free, I'm going to have to remove this panel for the lights. Be very careful. This stuff is pretty old. So I'll have to remove, there we go. Have to remove this, be able to get in there to completely remove that stiffener bracket. All right, pedal assembly is out. That was the most difficult thing that I have had to do in a long time. You really have to manipulate your steering column. You can see this bracket right here. When you turn your steering column, you almost have to have that on a 90-degree angle, straight up and down, in order to get the pedal assembly out. But before you do that, you need to get the brake pedal on this side, closest to the camera, of that bracket, and then turn that bracket on a 90-degree angle, straight up and down, and really struggle and pull and fight and try not to damage any of your electrical wiring or anything like that. But that definitely is a challenge, and I believe it's going to be a challenge to get the other assembly in there with the extra pedal, but we will see how that goes. Also, you have to turn it counterclockwise, so your brake pedal is going to go that way towards the hump of the or in front of the gas pedal. Your brake pedal's got to go up there and come up behind the bottom of the dash over here in order for the cage of it to slip off the top. Here they are side by side. Not too much of a difference, so it might be able to go in maybe the same way. We'll see. I'm not going to be able to video it, but it is a challenge, I'll tell you that. Trying to get that in there, snaked around. Also, remove these bolts that are dangling down in there. You have to show you. Let's see if I can't find one right here. So these hang down from the top, and they have these little retaining clips. Thread these off, pull the bolt out through the top of the pedal assembly, and then that gives you a little bit more clearance, because with these hanging down like this, they're hitting everything, and I was really worried about damaging the wiring around the steering column. Boy, I tell you, it wasn't easy. Alright, I came up with something here. So this will be a little bit of a pain in the butt while it's in the car, but I recommend removing this nut. Here's the other side. It's a bolt that passes through the brake pedal on the car. So take this nut off. Probably have to have something over here to hold it so it won't spin on you. Have this slide out, remove the brake pedal. I did that on the clutch and brake assembly on the new one, and I'll tell you what, it was less than 2 minutes to put the new one in. Here's the new one sitting there. I got it in place. 2 nuts started where they meet on the firewall. Up there. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but the new assembly is up in there, and I'm going to mount the clutch and the brake pedal now, and then finish bolting it up. I would highly recommend removing the stock brake pedal from the assembly before trying to remove it. It will be a lot less time and a lot less opportunity to damage any of this steering column wiring or anything else that you're trying to manipulate in order to get that out of there. But, yep. Highly recommended. Here's the new pedal assembly installed. It's hard to see it now because the whole thing is painted black in the bracket. There it is. Pedals. Here's back here under the carpet, there's a dead pedal. Let's see. Oh yeah, big old block of plastic. See if we can pull this carpet back a little bit. Get that out of here.
Big yellow piece of plastic. Resin, styrofoam.
Oh, and carpet inserts in there, holding down the carpet. Should be more than enough clutch travel. And honestly, I don't think this even really needed to be removed. It's so far over to the left. We'll see. Well, I think I'm going to end part 1 of this video right here with the pedal assembly. I believe that is going to be the most difficult part of this whole transmission swap. So the pedals are all in, everything's bolted back together, most of the dash is put back together. Let's see. Once again, there's the pedals. I believe that'll work perfectly. Yep, plenty of room. I would say it's pretty much just like it would have came from the factory if they would have allotted an option for a 5-speed in Lincoln. We're gonna end right there. Part 2 will be drilling a hole for the clutch cable and removing the AOD. I'm going to weigh the difference between an AOD and the T5. I think that the T5 is considerably lighter. I'm gonna just guess and say maybe 75 pounds lighter. I got a normal scale out here. We'll do that, and we'll do a side-by-side of the two transmissions once they're removed. But once again, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for part 2. Thanks.